Well, it's 9 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't know if everybody's had a chance to go over the minutes of February 8th and 8th meeting first.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay, the 9th. I need a motion for that. Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay, number 4, oath of office. Somebody got that there.
Amanda just went to.
Okay. Wait for a second.
Okay.
I, Marion Schlummer,
Having been appointed
to the office
of
County Commissioner,
County Commissioner
of Walworth County,
of Walworth County,
South Dakota,
South Dakota,
do solemnly swear
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of South Dakota,
and the Constitution of the State of South Dakota,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge all the duties
of
my said office
of
of County Commissioner. Sign there. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go on to number 5. I need a motion for approved claims.
I so move.
I'll second.
Got a motion on the floor in a second. Any other discussion?
I have one. When have we started paying for donuts for meetings for departments?
ask Josh.
When have we started paying for donuts for department meetings?
I guess when I've sponsored any type of training, I've always supplied something in the morning. So I've done it in the past.
I guess I've never noticed it either before. I don't think the other departments do it, I don't believe. You pay for them, Ken? Becky? I guess I feel that probably should be part of, if you want to do that, I guess that's how I look at it.
Part of it, when I'm getting the training here, is to supply some kind of a refreshment. So you're saying that should be on me? I mean, I'll pay, what is it, $33?
$33.
I'll pay it. You know what? I'll pay it. I will,
Is
I'll
it
pay
just
it.
for our department, or is this?
Nope, I'll pay it. Thank you very much. I'll pay the bill.
I'm just asking. Is
Nope,
this
I know.
just for your department, or is there other departments involved, or?
No, it's the training that I brought here that I paid, that it didn't cost us anything for the training, but I got instructors here from Pier, but I'll pay the bill, that's no big deal. It's $33. That is not gonna,
I think like Kevin was asking too, is we didn't know who it's for, if it's just for your personal.
no, this was a group training that I brought the training to Mobridge, is what it is. And it was 2 dozen donuts from Fillers, I believe is the bill, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all I was asking, is it just for your
But I can
department?
certainly pay it if you guys want me to.
I was just asking the question,
No problem.
is it just for your department, or are we setting precedents, or every department meeting, we're gonna start having lunches and dinners and breakfasts?
No, it's, I do that on the training sessions when I have other agencies come in, because it's usually the instructors are coming from out of the area. So that's why I did that. But if you guys want me to, I'll more than happy pay
I
for it.
was just asking
No
you
big
a
deal.
question.
No problem. I appreciate the question.
I guess I got one question. I guess it's for the cleaning of the ducts.
Yes.
Where did, I know Jim, I know we talked, did we even call anywhere that's a little closer than Rapid City?
They're about as good as it gets.
What do you, I guess, can you tell me what you mean?
That's the ones we had to do the courthouse here too.
Well, I know, but I mean, did we try to get locally? I mean, I'm all for a local.
I don't know one local that does that.
Yes.
Just to add in on that, Scott, I did call someone locally. Hayes could not do it. Hayes actually brought me in a business card for an individual out of Gettysburg, but they could not fit it into their schedule. They said possibly Friday, but that wasn't a guarantee. And with what was going on, I wanted to get it done as soon as possible. So I did tell Jim that. That's about all I have to add in on it.
I mean, because I know we visited, but I made one phone call this morning in Aberdeen, and there's an outfit in Aberdeen. I didn't try anymore, but I mean, I made one phone call to Aberdeen, and yes, there is an outfit in Aberdeen available that does that. I mean, I'm just looking at for mileage. I mean, everybody knows it's mileage, but I mean, from Rapid City to Aberdeen, I'm considerably different. And then I guess, because I look at it, I mean, what were we closed for 2 days, right?
Oh, 1.5, but yeah,
Because it took like 3 hours.
3 hours, which I was told they needed a full day, and they wanted it was better if the inmates weren't in the building. So I was not aware it was gonna take 3 hours. So that's how I had the transport set up, to have that, make sure that they had that one full day. So I guess that's partially my fault, but
I mean, what I'm getting at is somebody that's Rapid City, Aberdeen, I'm pretty sure that Aberdeen is gonna, they could easily, you can look at it and say, yeah, we were gonna be here for 3 hours or 3 days. I mean,
no, I understand.
I mean, it's just cost us more money is what I'm getting at. So then, that's all good now? The ducts are all clean and nothing
Yeah.
else needs to be, everything's good to go, or what?
Well, I think you ordered 2 air scrubbers, didn't you?
Well, that's if they,
Like out here.
for the building itself.
I guess, what do we really need them for, I guess? I mean, we've already had the mold peep here.
You also had them in here too. And I can tell that air scrubber's not out there running, but at the time we get to the end of the meeting, I will be out of voice. And back on a bunch of meds again. The same thing over there.
That was something I looked into for other issues, and he said that they can come back and, I'm not the expert on it, but treat filters, does that make sense? Or whatever for allergens and the dust particles. There's some other things that they can do if we have to call them back. But he said they were dirty.
No, I'm sure, I mean, it's 20 years old, I mean, it's, sure they've never been touched in 20 years. Did you ever have it done, Dwayne? So, I mean, it's just part of maintenance, I'm gonna guess.
And they do recommend that it gets done every year, is what I'm told, so I'll share that with the board, but. Yeah, it's definitely gonna collect up there over 20 years.
Yeah, like I said, it's just part of maintenance. But I guess the air scrubber deals, I mean, is that something that we really need, or?
I would say yes, and I would say that one out there should be running now.
I have problems with it too. And even the judge had problems with it until we did all that work up there and put the air scrubbers in, and he feels a lot better now.
Well, what's the rest of the commission feel?
How many are you looking at putting over there?
2, I think. 1 for upstairs and 1 for downstairs.
Mike thought 1 would do it, because it's not as big as this over here, with the 3 floors.
When he called yesterday, he said he called to tell us about it. He said he ordered 2.
2.
How much per scrubber?
$999.
I don't have allergies, so I don't know. And my wife has allergies, and that's a royal pain on you if you don't have that. But I would think if we could get by with 1, it seems strange to put 2 of them in there. If that's what it takes to be handled.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. I mean,
That ain't gonna help on the inside of the cells at all.
no,
So I mean,
You're right.
the square footage of actual airspace you got for the jailers isn't that much square footage. So I think 1 would be plenty.
Yeah, just change that order to 1 then?
no, yeah, no problem. Yep, I can. I can call Mike back, or,
He knew it would be discussed at the meeting, so.
oh, you did, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. I'll have Justin call him back, and Justin's the one that actually talked to Mike, so.
He
All right.
said he could
Have that.
cancel if needed.
Have only 1 ordered for the jail then.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay, number 6, discussion regarding payroll policy.
I sent out an email to you regarding that, and then Josh, I included Josh in it, and Josh and I talked, and he changed it to only full-time employees, no part-time, and then nobody's gonna get over 40 hours.
You're talking about when we were closed, the jails.
Yep, and then the timesheets came in with, most people getting 20 hours for it. But that would have put some in at 60 hours paid and part-time employees paid, things like that. So I think we got it straightened out. But we should probably look at a policy on that. So there's no question in the future on how to handle it. It's only when we have on closings is weather. And that's a little different.
Well, I guess it's something that we gotta look at doing then.
Kinda like the other one that you guys had to pay. So, there probably needs to be something put in place, because I couldn't find anything either, and I did talk to Becky a little bit about it through email and in person, and it's probably a good idea, so that we get something into policy on how we wanna handle it, if something like that needs to happen.
Okay. All right, go to number 7, treasurer's office.
So the partial payments for 6230 is not coming. Jamie, that is the Howell one.
Okay.
So that's gonna be in your piles.
Yep. I think that one is one that they are going to, and I was going to proceed with taking for delinquent property taxes.
Okay. We're just gonna do that at the next meeting, or?
All depends upon what Nyla's rehabilitation's like. Basically, she was putting things on hold till this individual came in and was going to wait for a commission decision with regard to whether they were going to extend the payment plan or not, because they're already on a payment plan but were delinquent. So, I would assume then this would be a go ahead and move forward with the taking for delinquent taxes unless they get them paid.
Yeah, this one also has liens.
Yep.
Well, should we act on that one then, right now?
Should we?
I don't think we need to. I think you already have.
We have already.
Because this property was on the list of ones that we were, that Nyla brought before, as far as the ones that we're taking. Go ahead, Scott.
Yep.
Okay, so I think we're all in place, and then she'll just start her paperwork.
Yep. Alrighty, then we'll go to 5506.
He's here.
Brandon? Hi.
Hey, I would just like to ask if I can set up a payment plan with the county.
And Nyla did talk to Brandon previously. Did she talk to you about a dollar amount or anything and when to start?
She just told me to come to the meeting.
Okay, what do you think would be a reasonable amount?
Maybe $200 a month.
So that would catch you up in a little over a year. Is that going to overextend you at all, though? We don't want to set you up for failure, so.
No,
And you want to start what month?
March 13th.
And then do it like the 13th of every month or 15th? Let's do the 15th of every month. That's a good round number.
Okay.
We will get that. Does Nyla have your email or the treasurer's office? Do you have an email?
I do.
Will you give that to Leah?
Yep.
Because we already have it drafted up. We just have to put in the numbers and stuff like that. So
Okay.
the recommendation to the commission would be that the payment plan be $200 a month, starting the 15th of March and the 15th of every month. That would have him caught up in just a little over 14 months.
Is this a first time?
Yep.
Okay.
You do realize what happens if you don't make your payments?
Yes. Go right back to where we're at and county proceeds with.
The county will proceed with taking the property.
Yep.
And then Nyla's out with some surgery, so it's between Leah and myself. So you should be able to get something fairly quick, but if you don't, give either Leah or myself a call, please.
Okay.
So we can get it all squared away.
All right.
So, I'm gonna need
A motion for that.
a motion and approval.
We got a motion on the
I'll
floor.
second it.
I need a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Thank you.
You guys tabled the treasurer's report to this meeting. There was no discrepancies between hers and mine, so if you want to go ahead and approve that, you can.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second. A second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay, motion passed. Okay, consider motion to surplus 5849.
That's one of the multi-bridge ones.
Is that, the one that we just looked at?
Yeah.
Ryan and I went and looked at two properties. One was in Mobridge, I think that's the 5849. Has it been secured yet?
Not yet. I was gonna do it yesterday, but things didn't work out the way.
But yeah, we went, yeah, since you dislocated your shoulder, but we made sure no one was in it. City's been contacted because the water was still on, to shut off the water. There was electricity, we needed, and I don't know if you contacted
Not yet.
MDU
I'm gonna do that today though.
to shut that off and let them know that the bill is ours as of the date we took it, but prior to that is not our responsibility. Because we've had problems with that before with delinquent bills, and then they try and roll the whole bill into Walworth counties for however delinquent the property owner was. What I would ask is that the county surplus that property and we post it for sale at,
Yes, Becky.
I'm assuming 5850 goes with it.
Yep.
yes,
Okay.
5849 is the, I think, the structure, and then 5850 is a lot adjacent to it. But we're running it as one property, and we will sell it as one property.
Is there heat on or anything on that house right now, or it's been off?
We looked at it, we went through the basement, everything.
Looked like somebody messed with the furnace to me.
And maybe it got disconnected or something. It's a fuel oil. We couldn't tell if there was still fuel oil in it, but we would sell it as is. There's still a lot of debris in the house, but I think it's salvageable. It didn't look structurally too bad to you, did it, Ryan?
No, nothing that couldn't be fixed
We
up
did
anyway.
Has it been winterized?
No.
We kinda got lucky there, cause there's been some water running through a dripping toilet, and I think that probably kept the pipes from bursting.
But, yeah. And it's probably about 20 degrees in the house, so, they have not had any heat on, but, I think it's salvageable, don't you, Ryan? So, surplus it, sell it at public auction on the steps of the courthouse.
Okay, I'll need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to put it in surplus.
All right, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any other discussion?
Deb, do you have an address on that?
I'll get it for you.
Thank you.
Do you wanna grab the cards on the other two, please, too, Deb?
I think Becky took mine.
Oh, do you have them, Becky?
Well, I gave them back.
Oh, okay.
Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay, motion passed. Number 4551.
Can we run those other two together? Or do you want different motions?
Are they adjacent property, the same property, or?
Well, no, the one we just did. Do you want separate motions for
Yes.
5850?
But you want separate motions for that?
Well, for 5849 and 5850, we're considering one parcel, so we just need that as
Just the
one
one
parcel.
motion?
Yep, for
Okay.
both.
Okay, so that's
And then the
done.
other, each individual parcels that are located in different towns, we should do
Yeah,
separately.
right.
Correct.
I think it's 215 Second Avenue West.
And then we will, I'll wait till we're all done, so.
I was going 4551.
Yep, she's got the cards in, I wanna make sure, unless you have the street address
That's
on
the
there.
Lincoln Street one here.
This is in
town.
Selby.
Yeah.
Okay, that's another one Ryan and I looked at, that's a salvageable property also. It's on Lincoln Street in Selby. There's a lot of property still in the house, but sell it as is. They can decide what property they want, what they don't want, so. I would recommend surplusing it and directing it to be sold for delinquent taxes.
Got to take a motion for that? Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any other discussion on that?
And then you want vouchers too. The other one. You want to
It's
get
Lincoln Street, something I can't remember.
I'll find.
So we're gonna lock it up, all the property stays with it.
Right.
Yep, that's, most of it's haul a big dumpster there and put it in, but there is some salvageable property, some mowers, some other stuff that somebody may want, but we'll let the purchaser of the property deal with that.
Appliances or,
Pardon?
appliances or anything?
Yep. There's appliances in all of them. Some of them are pretty scary appliances, but,
I had visited with the family and I knew they had pretty much taken everything.
I think everything I think you're right, everything they wanted, they've taken, but there's still, I think in this one, there's two humongous deep freezes. And how they got in the basement, I have no clue, but,
Well, utilities off on this one?
pardon?
Utilities off on,
Yes. No water, no electricity.
Since anybody's been in
This one was 3810 Lincoln.
there. Any other discussion on that property? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
And then 4034 is which one, Deb?
That's the Java one.
Okay. This is-
5200 Milwaukee.
And this is the one that we have been discussing doing the demolition on. That is not a salvageable house, that's in Java. And Commissioner Schilling has looked at it and been inside and would agree that it is not salvageable. So that's kind of the goal of taking that property down, and then the other Main Street property down that we own, we've had for several years, and then getting an agreement with the adjacent property owner to also take their building down. Because I don't see, and talking with Commissioner Schilling, it's going to be very hard to take down our Main Street property without doing any damage to that other building, and that other building needs to go too. So, and I think that's kind of all been in the planning stages of trying to get a deal worked out with that landowner in order to take down that property also when we do all three at one time.
I'll make a motion to surplus 4034.
Actually, we don't need to surplus it, because we're just going to tear it down, and,
But the property goes with it, doesn't it?
right, but I would wait till, on 4034, I would wait to surplus it until till after we get it down and prepared, and then we'll probably surplus both lots, once we've got them made into bare lots, would be my recommendation. I wouldn't surplus them yet.
Is there a chance to surplus it and let the buyer have a stipulation that everybody has to clean it up?
I
I
don't
would
think
not
you'll get anybody.
I don't think you'll get anybody, but I would not recommend that. That's a
It's too close.
scenario.
Building.
Okay, all
That's
right.
not,
Yeah, it's usually a scenario for disaster, because then you have, a lot of people get in and think that they can get it done cheaply and then realize that it's very expensive, and then we end up getting it back or forcing them to clean up, and I would not recommend doing that.
Okay.
I think this is the best route to go.
Are you talking about hauling that one out too? Okay. Okay.
When are we gonna have the surplus auction for these other three?
Ryan and I will talk about a date, probably within the next 30 days. Get it done, get it out of our hands. No sense hanging on to it for any longer than we need to. We'll publish it, and then just do it like we normally do on the steps of the courthouse. Have the sheriff run the auction and go from there.
Any other discussion on that? Alrighty, we'll move on to number 8, discussion regarding Payroll.
Richard. This is what was handed out.
Okay, thank you.
Updated billing and then your letter.
You got the floor, Richard.
All right, I guess I'm just coming before you guys. I addressed this in the letter to you, if you got the letter. I don't want to discuss my medical issues in public meetings, but I would do that in private if it's a concern to any of you. I've been incarcerated for 20 years. I've been continuing to fight my convictions. The law says I was entitled to a court-appointed counsel, and I had no other option. I had lost all my property. As you know, I contributed considerably to the community when I was there. The Main Street project at the end of Main Street was something I took on myself. Buying it, and I published a book, presented it to Thune and Janko and Johnson at the time, and I think it contributed to them providing $900,000 in grant money. I've torn down 27 buildings in Mobridge and Selby. I've had 31 rental properties. Many of them were tax properties that I brought back. I just want to move on. I have a 0 credit rating. I can't get a loan. I don't know where I'm going to go from here. I'm just asking that you forgive this or make some kind of arrangements with me. Otherwise, I've got no option but bankruptcy again.
County liens are non-dischargeable in bankruptcy, so this lien would be non-dischargeable.
I'm afraid I would disagree with you.
Well, that's fine.
I did with a friend of mine. We did the same thing. So
That's how my view is.
okay, they are disposable, so.
I guess my question would be is, I don't really understand how you figure that you should not be responsible for these court-appointed attorneys. I mean,
I don't-
then what you're saying then is, then everybody
I
should
don't
not
know.
pay for that then.
I understand what you're saying. I do, but I don't know how I'm gonna be able to pay for it. I've got a veteran's disability. I have hardly any social security. I'm not eligible for that yet. I'm 64 years old. Just to get an apartment, it's $700-800. I wanna move to Rapid City, or be close to the VA center. And what it's gonna result in is, from the new law that they passed, is I'm not able to pay it. I go into default. You put a lien on me, take my fishing license, my driver's license. Now, where am I at? I can't. There's nothing more I can do about it. I can't pay this amount. I am willing to make some compromise, but there's just no way I can incur this kind of debt. Just getting out of prison after 20 years, I haven't paid in anything for Social Security. I don't know what you're gonna expect of me as far as how I'm supposed to pay this.
I guess kinda how I look at it, it's the law. I mean,
But the law also, as it's quoted in here, allows you to be able to settle, waive, or compromise on these debts.
I guess what's the rest of the commission feel here?
I'm afraid we'd be starting quite a precedence.
Yep.
I understand, but where do we draw the line?
That's right.
How many people have you had in my situation though? I mean, in this extreme of a situation, how many people have you ever had to face like this? I'm coming to this council, I'm being proactive. I'm trying to approach you people and present my position and do what I'm supposed to do. After 20 years. I could walk away, I could just not talk to you, I could forget the whole thing. You could do what you're gonna do, but I'm trying to make a plea to you based on my condition. I've got letters verifying what my income is, I've got letters verifying my disabilities.
But you gotta understand where we're at too. I mean, we're sitting here and we're taking care of the taxpayers' money here.
I understand
And
that.
basically what you're asking us is that the rest of the taxpayers pay for.
You're also supplemented by the state of South Dakota for court-appointed attorney fees. I understand it doesn't cover everything, but you're also supplemented by that. So, some of that is paid for every year.
I know what is owed to the county from things like this, and it's a lot. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I have,
And,
it is, but, like I said, you're supplemented a certain amount every year for that under county law, it's in the letter. And,
I wanted to ask Becky, if we get supplement, because I haven't seen any supplement come in for court-appointed attorneys.
you should be putting in for it, it's available.
really no sense arguing it. The question is whether you're going to approve the request or not.
Well, I'm wondering if everybody's had enough time to consider it.
Dave, what's your feeling?
Well, I think the law is the law.
I think you should consider my disabilities, folks. I mean, there's a list of them here. You do not have a copy of that, because I don't want to disclose that openly, because of HIPAA laws. But I'd be willing to pass this around if you want to look at it. It's from the Veterans Administration. It's a verification of my income from the Veterans Administration. It's $136.24. What do you want me to do with that? That's why you come for a poor lien. You don't have any money. You got a lien against me. I understand that. But that's why I'm coming to you, asking for some relief from this poor lien. I mean, do you treat everybody that's asking for a poor lien that way? I mean, yeah, the law is the law. You got a lien. But do you treat everybody that way?
Yeah, we have poor liens on a lot.
I understand.
I mean, a lot.
There's situations, though, where you forgive some of those poor liens.
No.
And then the law allows you to be able to do that.
As long as I've been on this commission, we've never forgave one for this instance.
Have you ever had anybody in my situation? 20 years incarcerated, no income, disabled?
Well, there's catastrophic.
There was one that was incarcerated for a while, but
20 years?
Not very often.
I'm not saying.
No social
20 years.
security, no income, no chance of basically getting an income because of my
So
condition?
what do we do
Am I
with the
gonna
other
find a
million,
job?
what do we do with the other $1 million that we have on the books for court-appointed attorneys? Just forgive that too?
I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying you have to consider each one of these individually, and I'm asking you to consider my case individually.
If we do it for yours, we're gonna have to do it for.
And you keep referring back to that, Mr. Hobart, and I'm asking you to consider my poor
There
lien,
was one
my
satisfaction.
situation, 20 years, no income, disabled, 64 years old. I'm asking you to consider mine.
Assuming that
I understand, but everybody's gonna have the same scenario where I don't have a job, I'm disabled, I can't get a job.
Then you're gonna have, I have the documents. You consider their cases. They bring the documents and show you the documents, then you have to consider their
How much
cases.
money do we get from the state for being reimbursed for poor liens?
For poor liens,
Or-
we get nothing.
Not for poor liens, court-appointed counsel fees.
When there's, big cases, we'll get some out of the catastrophic pool. Every year we get a little bit, but it doesn't amount to much. I know there was a satisfaction done on yours
We
back
paid a
in
couple of times already.
2001, I think it was.
Yep.
For right around $1,000. But
We
I'd
made
have
our-
to check when the case was ongoing or new, we may have received some money.
There's also the document that I said, that I signed when I made application for that court-appointed counsel that, and I know I sent it to you, Becky, I don't know where it's at, but I will find it and send it to you. It says that after 10 years, those liens are null and void. It was right on the front page of the application form. So in that case, everything prior to 2008, in this instance, is null and void.
I think we're getting off track here, folks. I think you should address the question.
What does the rest of the commission want to do with this? I need a motion.
I'll make the motion to deny it because we're gonna set a precedence that we're not gonna be able to afford.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, got a second. Any other discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Sorry, Mr. Luchesky.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Okay, I need a motion to approve alcoholic beverage license renewal for Walworth Lodge and Convention Center.
The reason for this is you already approved it for D.A. Peterson and Associates, but on the front of the application, they had one business name and on the back they had another. The state sent it back and said both sides have to match, so, we changed the front to Woolbridge Lodge and Convention Center business name and the owner name being Woolbridge Lodge LLC, so it just needs to be approved again with the correct application.
I so moved.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Go ahead.
Like I said the first time, they haven't even broke ground. This is their second year. They only have 2 years to do it, and they haven't even broke ground yet. So if it's not active within 2 years, it's not good anyway.
Right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion passed. Hey.
Okay, you all got the January budget report, any questions? Okay, I need to declare 8 tires surplus to be destroyed. Need a motion on that.
I got a motion on the floor for them tires. I need a second.
I'll second.
A second. Any other discussion?
Any chance they could be turned into water tanks? Or
No, they're through.
what size tires are they?
Truck tires and tractor tire.
Oh, okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
Okay, update on the community access grant, which is County Road 319 out here by the motel. I spoke with Don Weigel at Clark Engineering, and they are working to get the plans done and sent to Pier, and then the DOT has to approve them. And once we get that approval, then we can go to bid letting. So we're looking at possible April.
April for bid letting?
Yeah.
Then how long does it usually take after that before they start construction?
Depends on how the bid's written. Oh, and then that's, so I don't know that. We just have to wait. Or you can wait. And if the DOT comes up with something that they want changed and the plans have to be changed and that can be sent back and be approved, so. It can get involved. Let's just hope that everything is kosher and you can go to bid letting in April.
Okay.
Update on Swan Creek Road, we will be, they're gonna do the Campbell County project first. They're gonna start up there hopefully in April. They're looking at starting on Swan Creek towards the end of June with a, town meeting the first part of June to explain how everything's gonna work. The bid did come in less than what the estimated cost was, which is good. And it will be a 2-inch mat. I have some questions sent into Justin Sandworth, he's the project manager, on exactly what portion we have to pay, the 17.18%. But right now, it's looking like about 500,000, so it's a lot cheaper than what originally was.
Are we still getting some from, was it Game too?
Yeah, but I don't wanna say that amount till I've got my questions answered from them, so I can get that sent to them. But yes, they still will do that, I just don't wanna say a dollar amount till I have all my facts figured. I will be crushing gravel in the Petty Pit. I would like that, letting at the first meeting in April at 10, that works. For crushing to be completed by November 1st, is what the bid notice will say. I need a motion for signing our bridge reinspection program resolution from the DOT, which we do every 2 years. Our bridges get inspected every 2 years, but we have to do a resolution every 2 years. It needs to be signed and notarized, Becky, and then I need it back to send them back. Send it back to
I so
you.
approve.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. Need a second? I got a second. Any other discussion?
How many
Hearing none.
bridges we got?
11.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
Just one more thing, update on, we were talking about moving weeds and emergency management down to the old state shop. Well, that didn't work. That was gonna cost way too much money, so we actually are putting the office in the basement down at the highway department. And the internet is hooked up, so whenever Jake is ready to move down there, it's ready to go. So,
Okay,
just so you're aware.
alrighty.
Alrighty?
Thanks, Penny.
You bet.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to number 11, it's discussion regarding a $500 donation.
You wanna read the letter?
What's that?
You wanna read the letter?
You read it, it's kind of hard to read.
Do your best.
You do a little better.
Do you know, what's that? Weigum? We received a check for $500 and a note that says, "Thank you for your adjustment for the tax exempt abatement. Please accept my contribution for use of these funds for other needed county services. Good government requires money to operate." From Jean Weigum.
At the Arboretum in Woodbridge.
On Grand Crossing. Just east of the laundromat. They have that huge lot of flowers and
Where all the
stuff.
flowers are?
Yep.
Yeah, for a long time, they didn't qualify for the exempt status. She finally got everything in order so that they qualify as an educational facility, and they hold classes and stuff all the time. So she's now tax exempt on that Arboretum land.
Okay, question is, where do we want to put that?
Courthouse donuts.
Really, Jim?
Sometimes we receive like very small donations or overpayments on something little, and they just say to put it as a donation to the county, but we normally don't receive an amount of $500 or something like that, so that's why I brought it to the meeting, to see if there was something specific you wanted to use it on, or.
What do you think, Jamie?
Can we put it back towards, or put it in the pool with other county taxes and properties?
I can't receive it into taxes.
Put it in the general, the $500 donation,
Yeah, you can.
go into the general fund, or you could put it to, or you can donate it to somebody else too, or use it to fund something, or.
What's that?
That'd be a good place to put it is back in the parks, maybe, if we have to
Put it in parks?
For something special out there, or?
Just to offset the current budget too, yeah.
It's only right at 500, isn't it?
Pardon?
I think the budget's only set right at 500, I
I
think,
think
isn't
for
it?
parks it is.
I think it's right, it's not very much.
Well, if that's what it is, then make a motion for it.
I'll make a motion to put it in the park fund for improvements in park.
We're gonna receive it in the general fund and designate it to parks. Okay.
Okay, I got a
That is
motion.
correct.
Got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second it.
A second. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Okay, let's go to number 12, discussion regarding purchase of weed emergency vehicle.
Give me Jim. Oh, it's John Martin.
As the weed board had discussed with me upon hiring, they were looking at purchasing a new vehicle or a vehicle to use for meetings, use it for mosquito spraying, pulling the trailer or putting it in the back of it. Also on the weather spotting, because insurance will not cover my personal vehicle for any of this. And kind of at any time, the National Weather Service can call and have me go out and do weather spotting for them, check hail, any of that kind of thing. And just the liability of having my own vehicle out there, that is kind of why they want to push one. Looked at the current spray pickup. To pull that sprayer setup off is about 24 volts on it. And it's set up in a main frame for the tank, which is about 8 volts, but then there's also a frame that holds on the hose reel. There's a frame for the little boom that comes down, another frame kind of for the motor. So it'd be probably an hour and a half, 2 hour job just to pull that off. Then you have your wiring harnesses that go down through the bed, through the back of the pickup. So to be able to pull that on and off is not going to be a quick thing. I don't think that would be efficient. Then the other side too, going to meetings, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, Piers, stuff like that. A weed pickup, you're going to want 3 1/4 ton, preferably 1 ton dually. But you're not going to get the fuel economy out of that driving to all these meetings. So that's why I would like to recommend a separate vehicle for this versus updating just that one. We do have a few that Penny printed off here this morning that are available. If you guys want to take a look through these. Not saying we have to go with one of those, but we can keep an eye out here over the next month even. But would like to try and get something done sooner than later.
There is budget in weeds because they prepaid a bunch of chemical to pay for half of it, but there would have to be a supplement to emergency management budget.
The budget for that's tied up for the remaining amount of the generator that the grant will cover.
So you'd be using this one more just for travel than anything?
Yeah, more travel, do the ski with that. I would have the emergency management radio, my laptop, everything set up in that. That would be also going to any fires, any incidences that I need to go to. I would just be going with that versus trying to take a spray rig to one, because it just, talking with like Warhawk District, they highly recommended not taking a spray rig to a big fire, just bad. Yeah. And I mean, there's going to be times that I'm out spraying that I may have to come back and jump in this one and go to a big fire just to help set up his incident command.
The one that we did look at earlier, the little Dodge is going.
Yep. Yeah, and this is a changing list all the time.
Told you, you snooze, you lose.
You look at these.
I just glanced at them here, yeah, they're all about the same.
But like you said, you don't have to do it right now.
$50,000, 50,000 miles.
You could always
How
wait and
much
see if
does the
something
weed
better.
board have for a vehicle?
The weed board doesn't necessarily have for a vehicle, but like I said, they prepaid $15,000 for chemical. So there was nothing built into the budget for a vehicle, but it could come out of the supplies.
I guess what I said, it doesn't have to be done right this moment.
No, I mean, we can, you know, if we can get an approval on it, but keep an eye out over the next couple of weeks if there is something that works out better, even a smaller SUV. Because we do have a trailer we can pull the mosquito sprayer with. I would just like to have something before we start spraying.
Because you got a pretty good deal, didn't you, Penny? I thought.
There was a good one, last month.
But you have to jump on them quick, don't you, Penny?
Yeah, you do.
So maybe you should just make a motion to set a certain amount not to exceed. And
That
then
would
we
be
can
the
keep
best way
working
to
and
do it.
waiting.
Yeah, they, like I said, they're kind of, when you find them, almost gotta jump on them and something else will.
So authorize them to purchase it off the state. All of them are state surplus, right?
Correct.
To purchase off state surplus in an amount not to exceed, like Becky said.
What's the dollar amount?
20,000, most of these are like 18.
Yeah, they're 16 to 18.9.
Kinda depends upon the mileage.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to find the lowest mileage one we can in that range, just so we don't have to worry about it for a long time.
EM does have a lot of travel involved.
Are you doing a lot of traffic
Can you
now for emergency manager?
I have a lot coming up in March.
March is not very far away.
I thought it was 15 or 16.
Yeah, and
Just a little over 30 for 2.
If, instead of jumping into something that, you know, you do have that car, you could use it, absolutely need it.
Yeah, we visited about that on the weed board some, or in that committee.
that, yeah, it's used to go to a meeting, a few meetings and stuff, but we won't wanna set up any radios in that.
Okay, I'll need a motion.
Little SUV would probably be better than.
And if we could find one, yeah, it'd be nice to have an
That
SUV.
way, you keep all your gear enclosed all the time.
Yep. And that's kinda why we looked
Still
at the
pull the
extended
trailer,
cabs.
still pull the trailer around with it.
Yeah,
What kind of mileage would one of these Chevy 1500 half-tons get?
are they 20, 22 on the newer ones? I got a Ford diesel, so I'm not.
14 or 17 to 20.
You get 17, I think you'd be happy.
Yeah.
Are they about the same?
Better
as
be.
that
I
one?
would think the average.
You know, they've got one here for 31,000 miles for 18.9.
Yeah, that's pretty low miles for what you're gonna see on there.
Four-wheel drive, extended cab.
Okay, I'll need a motion.
I moved to approve for up to 20,000
I'll second it.
Okay,
Off the state
off the
surplus.
state surplus, yeah.
Okay, got a motion on the floor and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Right.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay, go to number 13, discuss a billing from HKG Architects for $7,000. What are we gonna do about that bill?
I would like Dean Marski to come in and explain why another 7,000 after we just paid him all that money before.
Did we ever pay him the 8,000 that we kind of agreed on? And then they were gonna put together a plan and do some community meetings, or?
When did we agree on
I
that?
didn't have time to go back and look, but it just seemed to me like, didn't we kind of, like a year ago or so?
Well, I looked at the June 6th, 17 meeting minutes, and it looks like a motion was made and then withdrawn or died for lack of a second or something to proceed with them as architect of record on the project. But that was all that I found in that regard, so I couldn't find, the thing that they sent along with the bill was their pamphlet that they had for that June 6th meeting. And in there it says something about like $7,800, but I can't find any record of making a motion or anything like that at that meeting or a meeting that was held after that. Now, that doesn't mean that nothing was ever done, I just look back to that specific time,
We
so.
didn't pay him for that, did we?
Not that I'm aware of.
I didn't think so, but I couldn't remember.
Maybe we need to request that they can provide documentation of when
That'd be
we approved this
My suggestion.
bill.
Because I don't think we did.
I didn't have a chance to go back, that was like a 3-hour-long meeting, so I didn't have a chance to go back and watch that whole thing to see what all the discussion was, but I did see in the minutes that there was a motion made, but then I think it was withdrawn.
I was thinking we discussed that maybe February, in the last meeting in January or February, or
I'm just.
first part of March.
That could be too.
I think we need to have them come and explain this bill to us. Is that what the rest of the commission feels?
Yep.
I don't know that we owe it.
I think we've paid them an awful lot.
You'll call him then?
Ryan will.
Okay, Ryan.
Way to go, Ryan. Take one for the team.
Okay, we'll move on to number 14. Consider motion to approve bills for relief.
She's on her way up.
Here.
There she is.
Hello,
Good morning.
welcome to the table, Mr. Schulmer.
Thank you.
I have quite a bit of information today, so I have a packet for everybody, but it should be fairly quick to go through. I just wanted to be able to show you some things that are new and that we're doing, and then we have our medical report at the back that you'll see at conference if you go to spring conference. And then I went ahead and did a spreadsheet so we can look at the last 4 years back and see where we're making ground and making some gains. So I would like to start with what we have going on, and that's case 17-1P. Now this individual has a hospital request for services in the amount of $28,304.12. This comes from Averis St. Luke's Hospital and was received into Becky's office on January 18th of 2018. The Medicaid rate after I did it and then had it verified by the State Division of Medical Services was $9,808.58. The original amount for the services rendered is $71,768.21. After receiving all the information on the individual filing, the individual does qualify for county assistance. I just received the last bit of paperwork that said the individual was denied for Medicaid. So because the individual falls in that, our state did not decide to adopt that extra Medicaid and pay for it that the federal would pay because we were worried it would become a state. But this individual falls right in that gap. And so he would not qualify for it. So if I have a motion to get this bill vouchered and paid, it would see a savings to the county of $61,959.63, which is substantial. Normally, I like to wait because I like Mr. Nelson to write a letter to my boss and say, what are you going to do about this bill, and drag our heels. But after speaking with Jamie and going over everything, we both felt that this would be in our best interest as a county to pay this, even though I'm not going to say $9,800 is not a lot of money, but it beats the bajiminies out of $28,000 that they're requesting, or the $71,000 that was the actual cost of services rendered.
We're gonna be responsible for this one. He qualifies for, under our criteria, for poor relief. And again, yeah, the Medicaid gap wasn't funded by the state, so
right.
Counties are on the hook. So I would assume
I'll
you're
make a
gonna
motion to pay the $9,808.58 to clean this case up.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second
A second. Any more discussion? Hear none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
The next case on there is 17-1Q. This individual is not from Walworth County. The individual is from Corson County, and it states this in the petition papers for the involuntary mental health hold, which would make Walworth County the referring county and not responsible for this medical payment. Only the cost of transport, medical physical before they can enter into a facility, and any hearing costs that would be incurred. After doing some research, the individual was brought to the ER in Woolbridge, South Dakota, by the Standing Rock Ambulance. I attached the statute there that says how that works, about what we can bill or what what we as a referring county are responsible for. I have also been contacted by Vera McKinnon Hospital regarding this bill. Indian Health Services has denied this bill. In this denial, they state that the individual could apply for Medicaid because of the individual's income, and also the family members would be eligible for benefits. The individual has not been able to show documentation that this has been done. Even if it has a possible cost, even if they decide to try and stick it for us and Mr. Nelson is involved, the possible cost would be $1,272. But I don't see that happening because everything that Indian Health Services denied them for would be something we would deny them for under our South Dakota statutes as well. So, you know, sometimes it falls back where the person or individual has to be a little responsible about seeking every possible resource, because the county, we are considered the last resort for any kind of medical bills. Case 17-1C, again, is not an individual from Walworth County. The involuntary mental health hold was covered by Medicaid. The paperwork for referring fees was paid by Walworth County. I just submitted this bill to Becky. It originally came from Lincoln County because they paid it and were seeking reimbursement, and had tried to send this bill to Carson County twice with no luck. But we were the referring county, even though they were brought into the ER in Mobridge. We are the referring county. So, according to that same statute, your next page, if you take a look at it, is a copy of the bill that I sent out to Carson County. I will send again in another week with another letter, and keep track of it. I'm currently working with a Lori Gates out of Lincoln County, who are kind of finally jumping on the bandwagon a little bit, Minnehaha, Yankton, Lincoln. They're tired of getting stuck for these bills too, you know. The good news for us, though, is with the sheriff's help and with the Mobridge Hospital cooperating, making sure those involuntary mental health holds or petitions are filled out correctly. The address is being filled out where their actual address is at, and not saying Walworth County. Because once it says Walworth County, then we have to go to court or you know, have a judge decide that we've offered enough proof as to they're not our county person. So that is helping a lot. 2017, Walworth County had 10 involuntary mental health holds. Only 3 of these were from Walworth County. Out of those 3, 2 did not meet the criteria, and 1 was covered under Medicaid. For 2018, up to this point, we've had 1 that did not meet the criteria, but we did have another involuntary hold come in on February 18th. I've not heard of this petition that the criteria for this involuntary hold, and this would be a Walworth County case as well. So that's kind of, you know, we're kind of doing our fight where we're trying to get some of those referring fees back from the county, which is a good thing, but we'll see. Josh, Sheriff Bull also has a handout for all of you about what his medical costs are at this point. There's one that is not on there. That'll be for $2,058.88, and that is the Medicaid rate. This one is actually for a Carson County prisoner, and after doing some background check, the story is long, but to make the short of it, we were holding them for Carson County. They PR'd them, and then a detainer was attached in court services, then held him, but he was not released until he got back from the medical appointment and was able to sign that PR bond here at our jail. So after talking with Jamie extensively, Sheriff Bull and Court Services Officer Tony Larson, the consensus is this should be a Campbell County bill.
Carson County bill.
Or Carson County bill, sorry. And so hopefully we'll get our way with that. Last two pieces of paper, the first one, this is, you're gonna see this at state, it's gonna be on at your state spring conference, it'll be on a big spreadsheet. But these are all the monies that we paid that had to do with anything, with, medical. And, you know, it always looks like a lot, but actually, you know, I'm pretty pleased. Inpatient hospital was very little, prescriptions, is very little, our burials was up some. Developmentally disabled, it's right about where it is. Do you notice online too, there is no mental health, involuntary mental health medical, but on number 3, involuntary mental health non-medical, that $3,631.82, most of that is monies that we had to spend because we were the referring county and we're not reimbursed by those counties. But it's a statute, we have to pay it because we are the referring county. But the statute also then says that we have the ability to send a bill to that county's auditor asking for reimbursement. Our jail medical, $10,901.09, I thought was really, really well for what we saw on last year's sheet that I gave you, that we saved about $25,000, I think, or $24,000 by coding them down. We didn't give anything for rent, utilities, food, gasoline, miscellaneous. Our medical subsidies, these are all things that we, you know, that we subsidize, our mental health center, our community health nurse, our catastrophic medical pool, our ambulances. And then we have our next we have our non-medical, our shelter, our food, and then our client payments that we received back at the very bottom. So far to date, for that year, we received $2,008.78. We actually received more, but this is just the medical. This would not be any court-appointed attorney fees or anything like that. And then when we have a chance to come to our little spreadsheet, I just want you to, my big thing is just for you to be able to look back and see through the years just how well this is working. I'm really proud of the involuntary mental health, just because as you can see when you go back and you can see how that has gone down. And that's with Sheriff Bull's help and the Mobridge Regional Hospital as well, with the doctors and nursing staff filling out those commitment papers correctly with the right address and everything like that. So it's, you know, we're, you know, $3,631.82 is a lot of money in my world, but it sure beats the $10,000 plus we spent in 2015. So it means we're making gains, because when I first started doing this, it was, this is how it's always been done, and I'm like, show me the statute that says this is how this works. And learning more and gaining more knowledge from my 2 gurus, the welfare directors that I speak to quite frequently, this has really gone down. And they said we should have a lot to be proud about, that this is going that way. And then if you go to the last page, my favorite one is that catastrophic medical pool. In 2014, we paid $1,368. In year 2017, we paid $453. This amount reflects on our part as being a county of doing our due diligence and doing the research and the work and making sure that we are just paying the bill because it came, and breaking it down to Medicaid rates, checking with the state to verify that those big bills are correct and that there was nothing we missed, because sometimes they're tricky. They'll add outpatient care to that medical bill and they'll group it up into 10 or 14-day increments, and you can't do that. So, you know, I think as a whole, I think we're doing pretty well on our welfare relief, and my hope is that with Jamie as my boss, it gets nothing but better.
You've done a good job, Brenda, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Okay.
excellent job.
Any other questions? I know it was a lot of information today, but I wanted you to kind of have something black and white you could look at later on too, if you wanted to kind of see where our county was going. So, thank you so much.
Thanks, Brenda. We'll go to number 15, consider motion to approve the amendment to the Walworth County ordinance. What that is what I would like to do is, instead of having our zoning board, I would like to just have planning, zoning, and board of adjustments as the commissioners. Just have us doing that and not have a separate board. We're the ones that gotta make the big decisions anyhow, so we just will be that.
And realistically, just not to interrupt, but you would not need to implement 1701. You would just, we had talked to Mr. Sanger with Northeast Council of Governments, and he basically said that what other counties are doing is that rather than modify the ordinance once they already have it out, just appoint the county commissioners to all of those boards. And then we would not have to change any of our ordinances, and the commission would be the appointees on all of those boards once the chair made those appointments. And then, of course, their term of office in those appointments would be coincide with their election cycle. So we really would not need 1701, but you're going to need to approve that you are going to be your own planning and zoning board, and
Because we'll just have to go in and out.
what you will do is, basically, if you have a planning and zoning issue, you would either meet right at 9 a.m. and state we're going to convene as the zoning and planning board. There's no business, or there's business, act on that right away, or not act, and then adjourn, and then convene as the Walworth County Commission. You can't do this two together. You have to do it separately. Or if you're gonna act as the, what is the other one, Board of Adjustments?
Yeah.
You would have to make a motion to, I was, and talking to Deb, and I think she's talked to Eric more than I have, is that you should put Board of Adjustments and zoning and planning on every agenda. And that way, if there's no business, you convene, no business, adjourn. Convene, no business, adjourn, and then convene as the county commission. That's if you want to be the Board of Adjustment and the zoning and planning board as a group.
We wouldn't want to just put that on when needed.
Eric was recommending that we do it every time, right, Deb?
Yeah, he said that way you don't, because you're actually required to meet quarterly. If you just get in the habit of putting it on every agenda, you never miss. Planning and zoning actually does plots, and the Board of Adjustment does variances and conditional uses.
And if you put it on every meeting, you're not going to run into a problem with something coming in late, like approving a plat. And if you didn't have the zoning and planning board on the agenda to meet, you're gonna push it out 2 more weeks. So it'll take, if there's no business, we'll take, 1 or 2 minutes to convene and then adjourn with no, or have no business and then adjourn. And I kinda agree with Eric that sometimes we go a couple months without anything, so it's probably good just to get in the habit of doing it every meeting. It's very short, and that way we don't run into any failure to comply
And
issues.
it's really important to settle that, because Greg has 2 plots that we should take care of.
The other option would be is leave things as they are, but we don't need to change. In speaking with Eric, we do not need to change our ordinances if you go this route. So 1701, we would not even have a first reading, it would just die.
I will make a motion to save the county money, being we're the final say in it anyway. I will make the motion that the county commissioners be appointed to the Board of Adjustments and the zoning board.
Planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning, and on the adjustments board.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any more discussion on that?
Why do you think you're saving any money?
Because we're not paying for special meetings for the planning or adjustments boards coming in.
That was $900 last year that we paid. And it's other people coming into our county that helps do stuff with our county. I can't see where you consider that saving a lot of money. If you think it's $15,000, that's Greg's salary. It isn't his salary.
It's still $1,000.
We're the ones that make the end of
We
it.
make the final decisions on it anyway. It speeds up the whole process doing it this way. It saves who's ever coming in, it saves them a month to do it this way than meeting 1 month with the planning and zoning board and then wait another month to come in, get that approved, then come in and then we have to make the final decision on it anyway.
We worked for 1.5 years on this, and all of a sudden now you want to change it.
We're not changing it.
Oh, yes, you are.
We're just making different appointments to who's on the...
You're changing a lot of stuff that has to be looked at again. See what's going to affect everything now.
There'll always be, if we need to reconvene as a board, zoning board, that's exactly what will happen. If we need to put a new zoning board in place, that's what it'll be.
Well, why can't you just leave this one for a while?
But I think we meet twice a month.
So what's the big deal?
I just feel it's the right way to go. That's gotta be sit there and think about it. I mean, we do it anyhow.
I would like to see it left the way it is for a while. We got some pretty big issues coming up in the county here in the next year or two. And I hear about a grapevine, one a dairy, one a coal-fired electric plant out here. I hear there's rumors that, talking about that in the next 3 or 4 years. I would like to see it left the way it is.
Okay. Any other discussion? I'll go roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Schlomer?
Yes.
Hauk?
Nay.
Seaman?
Nay.
I'll go yes. Motion passed. Okay, let's go to 16, landfill department.
Did everybody get a chance to look over the reports for January?
I didn't print for Scott.
I didn't get your email too, Marion, so I think Becky has it, but I can. She's got it.
Yeah. He's now set up with the Walworth.
I brought a copy with if you want to make copies, if somebody could do that. Then we can talk about the other item now.
Does everyone need a copy?
No, I looked at it.
Okay. Evan?
No, I'm good.
Amanda? You can just do two.
Okay, the other thing I have on here is just a final grant reimbursement request for our self-construction grant for DENR. Our total costs incurred for this second request is $407,284.19. Our grant agreement with DENR states that we can request 29% reimbursement of those costs. So that amount ends up being $118,112.42. So total for the project, the amount was $760,621.98. That was all the construction and engineering expense. And we requested and I anticipate receiving $220,580.37 in grant funds for that. This should pretty well close it out. We did have loan.
That'll be our last payment on it then.
Yep, yeah, we do have loan funds associated with it, but I don't think I'm going to request that we get any disbursement of that loan. Just looking at the financial position of the landfill fund, I think we can make do without it. So it's gonna be tight, but it's not a big deal, it's just more budget management, managing projects, to make sure that if we have to push something out later in the year, to make sure the money's there and stuff, so. I'd rather not take those loan funds out because I have an inkling that we're gonna be needing a new compactor within a year or two here. That one that we have out there is a 2000 model, it's got about 17,000 hours on it, so we don't see any of its expected life, so I'd rather not take those loan funds out and then be obligated to that for 10 years, so save it for another big project.
I'm sure one of the compactors is very expensive.
Around about 800,000, so.
Is that just for the cardboard?
No, that's the big landfill compactor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the steel wheel compactor. So if anybody has any other questions about that, I'd like
I'll make a motion to have the chairperson sign the reimbursement request.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
Who made the motion, who made the second, sir?
Kevin made the motion.
Kevin, that is, Jim.
Get the standing garage down pretty good, aren't you?
Yep, we're getting there. Got a few more months, so.
That's done with cut in half.
That's looking good.
Way better than 90-some thousand.
And way better than a bankruptcy.
Yeah. It definitely paid to work with them on that, so.
This one used to
There
be
you go.
44 right now.
Haven't made their February payment yet
They
either.
made
That's
25,000.
25, right?
Yep,
Yeah, they're doing good.
it's bringing it along.
Yeah, take out the monthly fees on there too. So.
Does anybody else have any questions on the report?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Bill number 17, Griffin Jail.
We'll wait on the first one on that until after we do the jail committee meeting.
Yeah.
That first sheet is the stuff that Brenda went over with you. I made one to share with you also. I got a couple errors on that, the monthly report that I caught. It's not 13.58, it's 1358. So take the decimal point and move it. The attendant courts, we had court several times, she forgot to put the number in there. So I'll make those changes and make sure you guys get new ones.
She had 187 prisoners in custody for the month. And they served 135 meals. It's not even one meal a day per.
I'm not sure what, I'd have to double check on that one with her.
Somebody's going hungry.
Yeah, somebody's starving.
Do you do that, or you, I take it you don't do that?
Yeah, I'm not, I don't know where she got those numbers, I'll have to double check that with her.
Did you say meals is 1,358?
135.
135.8.
$1.35.8.
No, that's total, it's supposed to be total number of meals served for this year so far. And for the month, totals for the, up to January, from January.
So who figures that out, Justin, then?
I'll pull it over there and
I mean, you
get
don't
it
figure it out?
corrected. Yeah, we got this, yeah, we got the numbers over there, I don't know if she called over and gave it to her wrong.
So I mean, you don't do it yourself
To look at them all,
to figure that out?
they have, they keep track of them, pull them, I get them from Leandra. Cause they're all on the computer, so I just have her grab them, but I don't know if, I may not have brought them over this time, I'll have to check into that one.
But what I was asking, that's not part of your job.
They're kept on the computer over there, I don't physically write them all down every day.
Legal pay presents the civil process at sheriff's offices. Like I said, I'll get you the number on the attendant courts, the record checks. That's a total between traffic stops and or arrests, and also permits. Any type of record check that we have to do is, that number goes there.
The pistol permit's gone up.
And I wouldn't say that they've gone out, but it's, we're waiting to see what happens with some legislation at the state level right now with this constitutional carry. Don't know what's gonna happen there yet. It's been up in different months. We haven't had a lot come in. We still have, the greatest number that they come in for is the regular permitting, which is the $10 fee one. Only had 2 or 3 come in and get the enhanced. Gold card, I haven't had any.
Are we gonna be receiving a check soon?
A check for
Your stuff.
all the money,
Your
yeah,
revenue?
she'll write one next Monday.
Okay.
Any questions on the monthly report?
I'll get those updated numbers to you,
Okay.
so you guys have the correct ones. Now, the next bullet item on there, consider motion to table. Are we moving that? Or do you want to discuss that now, or?
It'll be at the end, I
At the
guess
end.
Kevin said.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear that part.
I put on there increases. Did you guys ever just, decide on that as far as make any other decisions as to the promotional raises for the three?
I would so move.
We need them separate.
Need them separate.
We need them separate for each employee.
For the address, 25 cents.
I'll second it.
We got a motion on the floor in a second. Any other discussion?
Do we have a counting scale that we go off of on promotions or increases?
No, sir, no.
All the deputies, like in the courthouse, get paid the same. All the pennies, different. The blade operators get paid one amount. What are the other truck drivers? They get paid one amount. So, there's no.
I guess I know we've discussed this a lot, and I look at the same way again, Josh. I feel that they're given raises just like everybody else in the whole system. I just don't see how, then we should give everybody that raise. If we give some people raises like that, I think everybody should get raises like that. I don't see how it's fair for the rest of the workers.
These people are stepping up to the plate and taking on more responsibility. Whether it's just regular shifts or if they're in charge of that shift. And I think they need to be compensated for it.
But so then you're saying that nobody else matters? I mean, that the other workers, it doesn't matter what they do? I mean, that's what I'm getting
If they
at.
step up and take more responsibility, yeah, then they should be compensated for it. I'll give you an example. When we promoted Mike at the registered deed, she took on a lot more responsibility and she got compensated for it. And that was just recently when Sue passed away. When you take on more responsibility,
That's an elected position, I mean, too. I mean, that's.
well, that's probably not the best example in the country, but.
No, probably not.
But any time in business, when you give a person more responsibility, you gotta compensate them for it.
But they are compensated for it at the beginning of the year, just like everybody else. Just use Penny, for example, just like a blade operator, a truck driver. Everybody, I mean, they're all compensated at the beginning of the year. Brenda.
I don't know
How
if
else
you
can a guy?
Explain, I don't know if you can compare these to those. These people are stepping up and being supervisor of a shift. Yes, there's some people that they just do what they're told, but these people are stepping up to the plate and taking over the responsibility of supervising that shift.
I guess I look at it from the standpoint that if we have positions within the county, we should have some type of a scale. If they are doing different levels of work or whatever, that should be set at the time that they're hired, not just throw a raise in there for whenever based on something. But I mean, to give somebody a raise just because they're taking on something different without having a scale that we're going off of, I've been trying to find that where we're coming up with a number.
This is kind of what you've done for many years, isn't it, Dwayne?
I've had these positions before.
I don't think Dwayne had all these positions.
I didn't have all of them, no.
No.
This is no different than in the Army. If you're a private, you move up a rank, you get an increase in salary. Be the same thing here, they're moving up a rank.
Okay, then I'll just ask you a question, then why didn't you do it?
I didn't have all those people. I didn't have as many employees.
Well, we got a motion on the floor in a second. Is there any other discussion on this?
My discussion would be to comment that we've been asking for a business plan to show what it takes to be a supervisor and how long it takes, the training that it takes to become a supervisor. I still have not received anything that looks like any type of business plan over there. You sent me that one, that was a copy of Dallas County, Iowa. It was an exact copy of it. That's not your copy. You didn't make it. So we still have no, that last one that you sent me, that revised one that, first of all, you sent me the wish list, and then you said, I got another one for you.
Yeah, because you wanted the job descriptions, and I didn't include those in the first one.
Right, so all that you sent me was the one from Dallas County, Iowa.
I don't remember sending that,
So I have not yet seen anything to say what it takes to be a supervisor, any additional trainings, any job deals specific here in Walworth County.
Well, we got the motion.
yeah. I've had these positions before, I guess. They're already doing the duties already. I guess for the explanation of the FGO position, one person is in charge of the training. That way everybody gets the same training straight across the board. I'll just ask for your consideration on that particular line item for the agenda.
Well, we got a motion on the floor and a second for the Smith one. I'll go roll call. Kevin?
No.
Schlomer?
No.
Hauk?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Schilling? No. Then we'll go to the next one. I need a motion for this.
I would so move for Eddie Rice.
I'll second.
Oh, I missed one, sorry. Okay, got a motion on the floor and a second. Any more discussion on that one? I guess I'm just the same way. It's just, it looks to me like those, they're done at the beginning of the year. That's the only thing I can say. Any other discussion? I'll go roll call. Bogart?
No.
Schlomer?
No.
Hauk?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Schilling? No. Bissett?
I'll make a motion.
We got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any more discussion? You wanna talk a little bit more about that one, Josh? The FTO position?
Just that he's responsible for the training of each new employee that comes into the facility. The new employees put with him, and he's in charge of that employee. They work with him. They shadow him pretty much for the 4 weeks.
Okay, I'll go roll call. Bogart?
No.
Schlomer?
No.
Hauk?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Should I demote them then? I mean, at the beginning of the year, I don't know who's gonna get promoted to these spots. That could be, I had people in those positions, they had since left, so I'm appointing or refilling those or re-promoting. So, I don't know who is gonna be promoted at budget time, because that could change. And if I promote within a year, 6 months after the fact, what should I do? Should I demote them in?
Have it in your budget at the beginning, when we do our budget, put it in there for next year, these positions.
So those positions were already in there, Kevin. I've never taken them out. But just wanted to say that. Proof cut. Next item, please, would be the information, reference the jail committee from the 21st. Jim, you're the chairperson for that committee. You or Kevin?
We met yesterday and unanimously agreed to hire EAPC to do the schematic design, and also recommended they would do what do they call that, foundation?
Structural on the foundation.
Structural engineer. It was a unanimous decision on the jail committee to go ahead with that part. I don't know if we want to get Brad on the phone.
It's 25,500.
25,500.
But an additional 3,500 for the
structural.
I already got somebody coming.
What's that?
I already got somebody coming.
He's coming, you?
And that's fine.
We hashed it out, so,
Yep.
yeah, so he's on his way. I mean, I looked, they were proposing having AE2S do it. I mean, one engineer and another, it shouldn't make too much difference. We'll still get the report and they can still act on it as needed. I think it should be.
Well, yeah, yesterday we didn't know if he was still coming.
Yeah, we were able to hash out what was kind of holding things up, so he hasn't scheduled a date yet, but I told him Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, probably works best for me.
What are they all gonna do for this 25,000?
Basically a plan and a dollar amount. Two different plans, one for 50 bed, one for 70 bed, and then a cost for each.
And whether it'll fit back here on our lot or we can talk all we want until we know what size.
It'd be schematic drawings, design.
And whether it'll even fit on this lot here, we're
for the two
spinning our
options.
wheels.
Schematic drawings for the two options, and whether it'll fit on here, and also bring your numbers in tighter on what you're gonna be looking at.
But I mean, they keep talking here, I mean, what if that I'm taking in both these examples, 50 or 70 is a regional jail, am I correct or incorrect?
Walworth County Jail,
Just a Walworth County jail?
the same as we're operating right now.
Yeah, it's a little bigger.
As you see, our crime rate is going up, it's not going down. I would suggest we get Brad on the phone. He's our paid consultant.
Yeah, but I mean, if we don't have to call him, I guess why do we really wanna spend the dollar to put him on the phone if we were, for what reason, I mean, I guess? What reason do we have to call Brad, I mean? Is there a question that we gotta ask Brad?
It was pretty much decided that to see if it'll even fit over here, to spend $25,500, we'll get something that we can take to the public, to have the public say yes or no. And this ties into my other one that we're gonna talk after this, but this way we would have a firm number to take to the people to say, are you willing to jump on board with this? Instead of just saying, throw out there hypothetically 10 to 12 million. This will get it more of a closer number, so when we go out and have these public meetings and then put it on the ballot for the November ballot, to have a vote to say, let the people of the county decide if they're willing to spend 10 or 12 million dollars, which is the cheapest part of this whole operation. The operational part is the part that is gonna blow people out of the water. But it was decided amongst the group to go ahead and spend the 25,500. 25,500. My thing that I brought up is how many more of these are we gonna do? Every time that we take a look at anything, we have to hire an architect, an engineer, mechanical engineers, plumbers, whatever. Every time that we do that, we're spending 20, 25,000 to have somebody come in and look at something.
What's our alternative? We gonna stand out here and plan this ourselves?
No, that's why I said, let's go ahead and do it. Spend the 25,500. After that, let's put a freeze on it until we get that in, take that number, put it to the community, and let the community vote on it. We'll get an answer one way or another this year, or whether we're gonna do this, or which direction we're gonna go in.
I think, yeah, just kind of to follow up on what Commissioner Holgard said is, that issue came up is, you know, how many of these do we need? You know, when we were working with HKG and things, but basically the consensus of the group was that putting a vote out to say we do fund a $10 to $12 million facility, you might as well just have them vote no now.
I don't think you can put that on a ballot.
Yeah, it's too, we need to get a more refined number and a determination on whether we're gonna be a 50 or a 70 bed or whatever bed. And in speaking with Brad yesterday, this is kind of the last step in being able to get a firm number, and he said probably their number is gonna be within 5% of the actual cost of what it's actually going to be to either do a 50 or 70 bed. There's some other things in there that once they provide that, we can either continue to go with or additionally cut out. But I think kind of what Kevin was saying is we need to get to a point where we can give the public a specific, this is what the design is gonna be, this is where it's gonna set, and this is what it's gonna cost within about 5%, in order to take it to the voters.
I think are you questioning the amount of beds?
Yes.
That's what I thought. I think he's wondering where we came up with the 50 or 70 beds and not.
And that'll be part of
information on 35.
that'll be part of this is when they come to do it, we will meet with them and say, all right, let's, before they make a final decision, we'll meet and we'll have our recommendation to come back to the commission to say, this is what we're thinking, we need to go this way or this way.
But I think the 25.5 is gonna tell us for 50 or 70 beds,
Right.
not 35, and that's, I think, what his concern is.
But I think what we were talking about with Brad is we could come out, I mean, because it sounds like they're in 3 or 4 meetings, we're gonna have to come right now. It's stated that we would be at 50 to 70, but this group needs to decide how many beds they want. Because there's still some dissension on how many beds, because initially it sounds like we're at 50 or 70, but if this group is going to go with a lesser number, we need to have that determined before we go ahead and say, give us the specs on a 50 to 70 bed if we have no intentions of doing a 50 or 70 bed. If we're gonna do a lesser number, this group needs to have that determined now. Because all it's gonna do is cost us more money if we come in and it's a 50 bed at whatever dollar amount, and then we go back and say, well, let's make it 36. If you're never going to go to that 50 or 70 amount, you need to have that determined now. That's kind of what you're getting at too, right, Becky?
I'm sorry, but Brad might be the guy that's recommending things, but bottom line is, he's not from Walworth County. He's the one telling you guys 50 or 70 beds. I don't understand why we don't start doing a little thinking for ourselves. And if we want 35 beds, why is it always this big number up here of 50 and 70 beds? I mean, why do we have to be up there? Jamie?
I think it was kind of always the idea that if we build a new facility, that this facility would be a regional jail. Whether we call it a regional jail or not, we're gonna be a regional jail. And if we build at a certain bed amount, we can use those beds to supplement what the operating costs of the jail is gonna be. But if this group is not in consensus with regard to the number of beds, you need to be in consensus on that before you even make a decision to spend $25,000 on a 50 or 70 bed plan. Because it kind of sounds like to me that we're not even at that stage of agreement with the commission. Is that as clear as mud?
To me, I'm looking at what them other taxpayers out there are thinking. What if the taxpayers say, we're gonna worry about Walworth County? Whether you wanna call it a regional or not, but,
Then where are you gonna get the supplement through the county budget if you don't take it from the jail? Where are you gonna get that? That's a lot of money.
I'm not saying that it's not.
End of August or 1st September, we had 34 in custody in our jail, Walworth County prisoners. You build a 35 bed jail and you're overpopulated already.
Okay.
Granted, we're not that way every day.
Then I'm gonna go to that question again then. Just say what you said. What's gonna happen if you fill up that 50 bed jail and this happens, there's 34 Walworth County again? Just like you said. What are you gonna do then? It's the same scenario if you got a 35 bed. How else are you gonna look at it any different? You have to figure out something.
Hopefully we can take enough out of county income and to make a large payment on that building before we fill it with our own prisoners.
Yeah, but that's,
there's no doubt in my mind,
it
won't be many years and it will be full.
I'm only going by what you said. I'm just going with what you said. You said, what if we had 35 people of our own, or 34?
We had 34, not
Okay.
what if. We had.
You're missing my point. I'm just saying, if we build a 50 bed jail and it's full and you get 34 in, what are you gonna do? The same thing. You gotta.
If we build a 50 bed jail and it's full of Walworth County inmates?
If you come to that day when all of a sudden it's full and you've got 34 from Walworth.
I guess the question that came up
then you house Walworth County.
is where we're at, and that part needs to be decided too. I mean, we do, the county is dependent on part of that revenue coming off that jail. Are we gonna be a regional jail or aren't we? Are we gonna shut that revenue off and put that cost totally on the taxpayers? I guess that's another decision that the board needs to make. I can't make it for you. I can shut it off tomorrow if you want me to.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I know.
I'm saying just.
Do we have numbers that tell us what our income source is off of these other jail inmates coming in and what our cost is per inmate?
Yes, that's all been supplied to the board, Mr. Swarmer and I know you're new, so those numbers can be supplied to you.
Does anybody know what we charge 95, I saw that. What do we get from other counties?
Billed out of county in 2016 was $615,640. And that was 16-17 was $468,225.
What are we charging per inmate?
$95 a day.
It depends on who it is.
Marshals are less.
Marshals and BIA or less.
Marshals are 65 and BIA is 80.
Do we know what our cost is per inmate?
To add one you mean or total cost?
Just what is our cost per day per inmate?
You're looking at total cost with electric and everything involved in the total cost of housing an inmate?
Yep.
Okay, I will have to.
My point is, if we're charging 95, and I'm just gonna throw a number out there, and it's costing us 110, why are we doing it?
Didn't we have a number given to us?
Well, it doesn't
See, we're obligated to the cost of operation as is, because we house our own prisoners regardless of whether we we add somebody. Realistically, what's it cost us a day to add somebody in and out of county? $5, $10 a day? The cost of meals, a little bit of extra electricity, and a little bit of water. You know, so anything above and beyond that is pure profit, because the facility's open regardless of whether or not we house out of county prisoners. A meal, what's a meal charge per day? What's your meal cost per day?
Roughly running around $1.30.
$1.30 a day for meals, a little bit of water, a little bit of extra electricity, a little bit of laundry cost.
Do we charge other counties for taking their inmates to the doctor and things like that?
No, they usually come and do them. If it's a trip to like the clinic here in town, if I got enough available help, we do it. If they gotta go to Mulbridge because they can't get in here, then
That's on them.
they gotta do it.
We already have the staff, we already have the facility there, so, you know, the actual cost to us to add it on the county is probably $5 to $10.
For a out-of-county jailer to come into our county?
For an out-of-county prisoner to come into our county, because it's just gonna be the meal costs, a little bit of extra electricity, a little bit of water, a little bit of laundry, that kind of stuff, you know, really limited toilet paper, supplies like that. That's really it, because we already have the labor. The labor doesn't go up or down based on population. Now, if you're really overpopulated, you might have to add an extra staff, you know, but according to what Brad says, even just for our inmate population, we should have 3 staff on, so it doesn't really matter what we're taking in out of county, we can still operate with those 3 staff per shift. So, yeah,
Yeah, the only fluctuation would be the increase in a meal, a little bit of water, a little bit of electricity. But that's already being used, it's just that little increase for that extra inmate.
And that harkens back to that 70-bed, 50-bed. You can staff a 70-bed facility with the same staff, the same core staff that we have now. Now additionally, you're gonna wanna add probably food service to that, some food service staff. So there's gonna be some support staff that goes along with that, but that same 3 per shift that we're doing right now with our 32-bed facility should be able to be the correctional staff for a 70-bed facility. So that's where those numbers come from. That's maxing out your revenue potential based on your staffing requirements. So if we build a brand new 35-bed jail, you know, we're giving up those extra 35 beds that we could be housing out of county with the same staff.
Do we get commitment from these other counties?
They sign contracts for 2 years.
Yeah, but I think he's talking like a
it's not
specific amount.
No, they
No,
don't
they
provide.
don't, they don't rent certain amount of bed space.
Yeah, they don't provide any monetary.
But it's basically a 2-year contract, and it just specifies what they're responsible for, what we're responsible for. But it's not they don't buy beds, so to speak. It's not set up that way.
And they're just billed per inmate per day and billed monthly.
We've always been a regional jail by default, is what they call it. And if we had the room, we'd let other counties bring them in and we charge them. And it's just kind of been that way. It's not, we've never ventured out and actually become an actual regional jail.
And if you sign contracts specifying a number of beds that you're on hold, then you're obligating yourself to losing out on this revenue, because I have to hold 3 beds for Edmonds County, and they might not be housing anybody, but I still have to hold these beds for them, and they're sitting empty. And, you know, if you're gonna do it that way, you charge them the full day rate every day, so you're recouping your money regardless. You know, not just say, you're gonna pay $15,000 a year, and you're gonna have these automatic 4 or 5 bed holds or whatever that are yours no matter what, so.
Right now, it has spaces of,
First come, first served.
First come, first served, so as bed space is available. Right now, it's not. Like Ryan said, I couldn't use those 3 beds because the contract says I have to keep 3 beds available to that county at all times, whether they use them or not.
If you had that done that way, then the taxpayers we wouldn't even be having this discussion, because the taxpayers would know that is not gonna come out of their pocket.
Well, Walworth County's gonna have a bill on it.
Gonna have a bill for Walworth County. But I'm saying, when there's a bill up here for $12 million, that the taxpayers of Walworth County is responsible for, not Campbell County, any county like that. That's what I'm saying. If there would be, you would have it in place where it's gonna cost you this amount of money to come here, then the taxpayers wouldn't have to worry about it. I've said that for years.
I mean, it seems to me like Walworth County puts, and I'm just looking at it from the standpoint, if I was in Campbell County or in a different county, and I don't have a jail, and yet I can pay so much a day to send my jailers here and not have the huge cost of putting up a jail, they don't have any strings into the deal. I mean, why wouldn't they want to send their jailers and not put up a jail of their own?
If we wouldn't have a jail here in 2017, just for the county people that we have, that would cost $371,355 out of pocket, out of our funds here. If we would close this thing down and take them to some other place.
We got that cost either way though. Right?
That's not including transports and other.
I mean, we would have that cost of, we basically have that cost for our own jail, don't we? For those inmates coming in here? I mean, we have a fixed cost of what it's costing us a day for our jailers. So, if let's say we put up a $10 million jail, and we have a $300,000 cost to our own prisoners. That's part of having this jail. That's our cost of our own inmates in there every year.
Right.
If we send them to some other county, we still have that $300,000 plus we'll have the mileage and the shipping to get there. But I don't have a $10 million bill sitting over our head in the county.
But then you don't have $468,000 coming in from out of county people either.
I understand that. But our revenue coming in has to, I mean, that's why I feel like we have to show a pretty solid number on the total expense of what this jail is per inmate, and show what our revenue generation could possibly be. I mean, if we're losing money on a jail every year more than, let's say you're using that $300,000 cost of our own inmates, if we're losing $500,000 because we have our own jail, why are we doing it?
They estimate it costs us $1.5 million to house out of county. And you can argue that number, whatever. House out of county with out of county costs, transports, and all the stuff that goes along with that. We're paying $1.1 million now to operate our jail, whether we house any out of county or not. I don't have that sheet with me, but in 2016, total cost, I think, was like $76 per person per day, Walworth County and out of county. Per day in jail. If you take the out of county out, I think it went to $176 a day cost for the Walworth County, just to house Walworth County prisoners.
I don't think I think everyone's kind of on the same page, but they're not realizing it. I think everyone agrees that we need a jail here for Walworth County prisoners. I think the issue is how much are we going to spend to be a regional jail, if we're going to be a regional jail, and what that cost is going to be to Walworth County and to the county. Is that kind of how you were looking at it?
I don't have a problem. If the jail's $20 million, I don't care what the cost is, as long as you can take it to the people, the voters of the county, and say, here's what we're going to spend on a jail, and here's what our income source is going to be for that jail. If we're losing $300,000 a year, it sounds to me like it's a win deal, because it's going to cost us that much for our own jailers.
Well.
But if we're going to lose $500,000 every year, or whatever that number is, I don't think the county people are going to be that excited about it.
I don't know if you can classify it as a lose. It's going to cost us $1.1 million a year to run this jail, whether we house any out of county or not.
Okay, Jim, I'm just gonna jump back a little bit. I don't know if I heard you right or wrong. What did you say it was gonna cost us to house a prisoner elsewhere in another county? $176?
That's what it cost us in 2016, and I don't have the numbers with me.
To house elsewhere was $176 a day.
Well, that's what it cost us if we only housed Walworth County in our jail in 2016.
Okay, I didn't catch all what you said. That's why I was just asking.
And I think, it isn't exactly right, but I think it was $76 total cost for everyone in there, and 176 or something like that. If we would only house Walworth, taking $10 a day off the cost to run the jail per inmate. So we take off their actual cost to add a prisoner. I think it was like $176 per day for Walworth County if we hadn't housed any out of county to subsidize the budget. And the out of county has been subsidizing the budget in this county for many, many years. Covering the shortfall.
See, but then I'll just jump back to, and Josh and I have had this same conversation, the $95. Well, make no bones about it, Josh knows I don't like that number. I don't think it's enough. But anyhow, when we put on more staff, the only people that seem to reflect in cost there is Walworth County people, because we did not go up in dailies. You know that I don't agree with that, Josh, so. But I'm just saying, we put more people on, Walworth County people paid for that, we add, what, 5 more employees? But that cost never reflected to any other county except Walworth. Tell me if I'm wrong. That's how I look at it.
No, the fee did not change.
It didn't, and that only reflected to the taxpayers of Walworth, because now whether we had to do that or not, we were recommended to do that, but I'm saying, the Walworth County people had to shell out more money, and it didn't cost the other counties any more money. That's what I'm getting at here, is our costs need to reflect to the other counties. So I guess we gotta get back to the voting on that $25,525, isn't it? We haven't had a motion. But if there's no more discussion on that, I need a motion for that.
I would so move.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, is there any more discussion on that? Hearing none, I'll go roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Schlomer?
Yes.
Hauk?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Schilling, no. Motion passed. Okay, do you want to go back up to the...
Yeah, if we can. Okay, now that we got that settled, I would like to, I don't know if we need a motion or just all agree that once we get this done, get the figures out there, take it out to the community, have the community meetings, and put it on the November ballot. To let the taxpayers of Walworth County make this decision instead of 5 people making this decision. And whether we're gonna spend this much money for a new jail.
What's the rest of the commission want to do?
I definitely feel that has to be a county taxpayer decision, not a 5-person board.
How?
I think we're premature in doing that. Let's get their numbers and see where we're at. We don't have a clue where we're at now.
No, just what Brad said the last time he was here, 10 to 12 million. I guess them numbers don't leave my head very easily.
Well, but he's just guessing too.
Getting back to what Mr. Harr said, don't we have to come up with a cell number that we're going to propose to have the numbers drawn up?
The agreement is that we, this specifically wrote was 50 or 70 bed jail with
For this 25,000?
and the schematic to see if it'll fit back here. And then an option, 4 bed juvenile. That they can, if there are no juveniles in there, they can use them for themselves and don't change, so whatever.
If on a 50 bed, if you go by what is recommended in the so-called standards, you operate at 85% because of classifications of different prisoners or whatever. If that's followed, that leaves you 44 beds out of the 50. So you have that other 15% to move people around hypothetically.
Because you'll never be at your perfect number of, say, whatever percentage of females and males, it'll always be a little bit off, but yeah. Commissioner Holberg's right on that.
So 50 bed, you're down to 44 hypothetically. My feeling is, once we get these numbers, we quit spending the money and just have the meetings and get it out and let the county vote on it and put it on the November ballot.
Did this 25.5 include any public meetings?
No.
Yeah, they said they would come out and help us do that, I think I read that, and I didn't bring that with me today. On that letter that Brad sent us from EAPC, they would come out and help us do public meetings, or at least get us the numbers in, they said they would come out and help. I didn't say how many, I'm guessing if we could have a public meeting in Overy in the morning and one in Selby in the afternoon. You know, I wouldn't see one weekend and one the next weekend or something to minimize their travel time, but.
Okay, is there any more discussion on this matter with you, Kevin? What do you want to do? Are you making that a motion, or what are you doing?
Do we want to, or should we wait until we get the numbers in to make the motion and put it on the ballot?
When you say numbers as far as?
The report from the APC.
You cannot make a motion to put it on the ballot right now.
I think the group yesterday, the committee was all in agreement that we need to spend the money from EAPC and give to EAPC in order to get a ballot schematic of what we actually are going to want to build and what that dollar amount cost is going to be and where it would be placed and et cetera.
The motion's been made to spend the 25.5.
Okay.
But I think he's trying to make a motion to stop any other business and just put it on the ballot, which we can't make a motion right now to put it on the ballot because we need more specifics.
We need to know the numbers first before
We're
you
gonna take
can.
another meeting anyway.
Yeah.
A couple more.
It is,
Before
it's
you.
gonna take EAPC 4 to 8 weeks to get the report back.
Yeah.
And then I would recommend that once that comes back, if there's any motions or decisions to be made, that's when they would be, once you want to have a motion to put that on the ballot, we would have the exact bed numbers, cost within 5% is what we were given.
And we still need to get exact specific laws on how to go about that.
Correct.
Because there's been I've started receiving information and some information I've received say the commissioners can't just put something on the ballot, it has to be referred. Other information I've received said they can, so
And realistically,
we don't
putting
have
this,
exact laws on that yet.
and realistically, putting this on the ballot, all it is an opinion question. You're not bound to do anything by it. That's what you need to understand is all you're doing is utilizing the fact that we're going to have an election in November to put a question to the public on. That's all you're doing. And that's where, and normally that doesn't happen. You know, Fauquier County did it. This is basically the process they're going through, I think.
And I'm gonna reach out to them and see
Yep,
exactly
to
what
find out how
want.
they put it on the ballot, because yeah, this isn't a referred issue or anything, this is basically a survey of the public. Once we have the numbers that we feel confident to go to the county with, then we're going to basically do a survey of, do you want to build X bed jail for X amount of dollars in Selby, South Dakota. But right now, we don't have the number bed that we're going with, nor do we have the number of dollars that would be realistic to go to the public. Because I hate to, if you're gonna say, yeah, build a 50 or 70 bed jail for $10 to $12 million, that's gonna go down in flames. That is way too big to present to the public. And that's kind of what our discussion was yesterday at the committee is that you need to get a more refined number and a very specific, detailed plan of what you're going to do, where it's going to be, et cetera, before you present that to the public, if you have any chance of getting it passed.
Is
that kind of sum it up?
Now, if we have a referendum vote, say we approve a 50-bed deal, and they get the signatures and take it to vote, then that would be a yes or no vote, right?
Correct. That would be a referred issue, and that would be, but see, what we're asking for here is there is no referral, it's just a vote of the public by survey, really, and we're using an election to piggyback it on.
If we end up moving forward and looking at financing proposals and we choose a financing package that requires an opt-out, then we'll have to have another vote at that point.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, this is about the second inning of a 9-inning baseball game. Once we get the money back from EAP, or the report back from EAPC, that's when this commission makes the next step of, okay, are we going to go forward with this or are we not going to go forward with this? And if we are going to go forward, then we're going to request that the citizens of Walworth County make a vote rather than requiring them to refer it. By you making a vote saying, yep, we're going to go ahead with this jail, and then that would be the option is to refer your decision to a vote. We're basically saying, all right, this is where we're at, and rather than making a decision on whether we're going to proceed or not, we have the specifics of what we would be doing. We're going to ask the public to vote first.
I just feel like, in my opinion, if we take this to the vote of the public, I don't care if we come in with this plan and they come up with a number of $8 million or $10 million, whatever that number may be. If we don't have a business plan of some sort showing where the dollars are going to come from and what the cash flow is going to be coming in on this jail, it's going to be a no vote. I mean, I think people are going to look at this and say, why do we want to spend $10 million in the county? But if we can propose this to the county as a jail, here's what it's going to cost us, here's what our income is going to be coming in on this thing, and show a balance that's going to make it work, I think it could fly. But right now, if you take a vote to the public of $10 million, I don't know why we're taking to the public, because I pretty much tell you know what, right now it's going to be a no.
Anyway, we can't do anything until we get some numbers.
Any more discussion on that topic then? We're gonna take a break for 5 minutes right now. Okay, I'll call the meeting back to order. Executive session. Did you put that on, Josh?
I did.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second. Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Executive session.
Yep. Opposed say no, motion passed. Who do you session?
So we went in at 11:33 and we're the motion
If I don't have it in black.
And you'll have to.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to number 18, this is discussion regarding salary resolutions.
I had requested that go back on there, but It doesn't seem like we're any closer to, getting that situation taken care of. We gotta hash out, you know, especially in the sheriff's department and jails, in the jail, what the salaries are gonna be set at for 2018, so we can get those resolutions in effect.
The salaries already were set for 2018.
Yeah, but there's been some dispute about that, that's why it got tabled at the last January meeting. Bringing it up for discussion again, so. That's not my decision to make, is what I'm getting at. You guys have to make a decision. I'm not just gonna, I tried to put in there what was in the budget. That wasn't acceptable to everybody, so now all the ball's in your guys' court. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, Ryan was asked to do the resolutions, but he hasn't gotten information on what numbers are gonna make everybody happy to pass the resolution.
Is there any particular, like, you don't have any issues with my department, right?
No. It's
Yours
just,
isn't on that resolution.
Oh, that's right.
It's
never
just
mind.
the sheriff, the auditor, treasurer, and register of deeds, and actually the auditor, treasurer, and register of deeds are a separate one.
yeah, we talked about splitting that off, and I think that's a good idea, but it's all gotta be hashed out somehow if we wanna do it. It's in codified law, it's something that we should be doing. So,
Basically, the commissioners said it, so you guys need to decide what you want on it, and that's what's gonna be.
And that's kind of what Commissioner Schlomer was asking about earlier. Do we have published salaries? That was a question you brought up earlier.
Well, it makes the whole gamut of pay raises and everything else pretty simplified if you have a structured scale of what's gonna happen for positions.
I don't know if a couple of you want to meet with the sheriff and tackle this issue, and then let me know. Probably be the best way to do it.
Well, the two guys on jail, Kevin and Jim. No response there, Kevin.
Well, I've been asking for a lot of stuff, and that's, you know my position. So.
So we're not gonna do anything at this meeting apparently. We can move on.
And that's fine, yeah, I mean, but if we're gonna get these resolutions signed into effect, we need to hash that part of it out, so.
Well, Marion's new to this, he should go and study this a little bit, know what we're talking about, and then we'll just bring it up at another meeting. All right? Okay, we'll move to number 19, discussion regarding February 9th meeting.
I put that on there. I would like to go on record and say that at that meeting that I was pretty much singled out and attacked. The allegations were false. I was accused of having all these threats come out of my place of business, which was false. The threats were felonious, meaning it was a felony threat. None of the threats that were made were a felony. And there was another controversy about pulling their name out of the election. Because I talked to Mr. Moore about this afterwards that day. I said, if you was gonna pull your name out, why didn't you pull it out before the vote? Well, he said I wasn't gonna pull it out. If there was a tie, my recommendation was to put our names in a hat and draw it out. So I just wanted to go on record to clear the air that none of these threats came out of my place. None of the threats were felonious. So I just wanted to go on record and clear the air.
Well, I'm just gonna make one comment to that then too. I agreed with Mr. Moore, but I agreed that threats is not right. That's all I agreed to.
Yeah, in the paper, it was presented totally wrong, the way that was presented in there. Cause I had a lot of people calling me after the fact and say, well, how did that, come about? And I said, well, I don't remember a record ever saying you had agreed with the whole thing, other than agreed with the fact that it was threats is totally wrong.
It's totally wrong. It wasn't right for Becky to have to go through that, or anybody have to go through that. That's what I agreed to. So.
There was a couple meetings ago that you jumped me about saying something in the paper, and that I was supposed to come through the county attorneys, but then you and Kevin put this in the paper. Now, how can you do that then?
Okay, if you wanna go there, what did I talk to you about? And what did you say? We can do that.
So that's what
You have
she
a short
based.
memory?
Yeah, I know what I said, but, so that's good enough for you, huh?
You're the one that said, well, it's all right.
But I never put it in the paper. It was reported by somebody else.
That's right.
I never put it in the paper, and you said I put it in the paper. I did not. You put this in the paper. So I just
What
wanted.
did I put in the paper?
What the heck you put in the paper, this whole thing here?
I don't get the paper.
Well, then you,
I put it, I was the one that called Katie's there to get it straightened out and put the facts in there. And there's a rebuttal this week in the paper.
it's kind of it's okay for you, but not for me. Is that right? Well, that's the way it looks. Exactly right? Okay.
Any more discussion on that? Number 20, old business. Here none, go to 21, new business. Here none, I take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion on the floor, I need a second. Got a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay, motion passed.